Alright, welcome to a brand new series here on my channel, a Philadelphia Eagles franchise here on Madden 22, which will be a Play the Moments franchise. So if you somehow don't know what Play the Moments is, whenever we go in, we will play every game, but we will click Play the Moments, and it will just throw us into certain scenarios throughout the game. But I've decided to jump in after this last season, where the Super Bowl just ended a little bit differently than it did in real life. The Rams win this one 45-3, and the draft class we will be using is Bengals' most updated draft class. So I will show you that real fast, at least the top few picks here, where we've got Kayvon Thibodeau, Matt Corral, Evan Neal, Derek Stingley. So yeah, that's the draft class I will be using for at least this season, then we'll probably go to auto-generated drafts after that. Also, Nick Sirianni is gone and head coach Jackson Knight takes over the Philadelphia Eagles. And to start things off, we're not bringing any of these players back except Jason Kelce. So Anthony Harris, Rodney McLeod, Steven Nelson, Derek Barnett, Boston Scott, and all of these guys are going to hit the market. I may bring some of them back in free agency, but I highly doubt it. We're going to look to rebuild this team within about a season or two. Also, if you didn't notice, I did have to franchise tag Jason Kelce because he did not want to come back. And taking a look at this first mock draft, as you can tell, we will scroll down here. It looks like Malik Willis might be going to our division. And we have picked 15, 16, and 19 right now, and they're projecting for us to take 3 wide receivers. I promise you that won't happen. I looked through the retirements real fast, and the only ones of note are Andrew Whitworth, AJ Green, and Ben Roethlisberger. I've made this trade with the Saints now to sort of mimic real life. We have traded pick 16, 19, and a 5th round pick this year, and we get pick 18 this year, their 1st rounder next year, and a 3rd rounder next year. It's not exactly what the trade was in real life, but I think this is as close as I can possibly get it in Madden. But now that we have that taken care of and we have pick 15 and 18 in the 1st round, let's take a quick look at our current roster. Starting quarterback right now is Jalen Hurts, but that may change. If a QB falls to us in the draft that I like, then I may take him. I'm not going to trade up for one though. So right now, Jalen Hurts is our quarterback, Miles Sanders is our starting running back. At wide receiver, we have Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, and Jalen Reagor. We will be looking to improve that. Tight end is Dallas Goedert. We're going to be looking for a backup. Left tackle, Jordan Mailata, 82 overall. Left guard, Landon Dickerson. Center is Jason Kelce, who might try to retire in the middle of the season, so I should probably look for a decent backup. Right guard is actually going to be Andre Dillard because Brandon Brooks is injured right now. He does not retire like he did in real life. And right tackle is Lane Johnson. At defensive end, we have Josh Sweat. At the other end, we also have Josh Sweat. How are you starting at left and right end? Okay, so we're going to need to get a new defensive end, but I think we should still have Brandon Graham, unless he retired. Yeah, we still have Brandon Graham, but he is injured currently, so he will not show up on the depth chart right now. Defensive tackle, we have Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave. At outside linebacker, we have a 61 overall Patrick Johnson, obviously a position of need. Middle linebacker, TJ Edwards, also a position of need. And right outside linebacker, Davion Taylor, also a position of need. At defensive back, we have Darius Slay and Devontae Maddox, and then past that, it is not great. Free safety is Marcus Epps, strong safety is Kayvon Wallace. So we have a lot of parts to improve on this team. Immediately in free agency, I see Devontae Adams, Teron Armstead, and Stephon Gilmore, probably all a little bit out of our price range though. And to start the free agency period, I have offered a contract to Marcus Williams, who is the only player we are in a bidding war with, Jabril Peppers, Rasul Douglas, OJ Howard, and Jacob Martin. A few of these I lowballed pretty hard, so I doubt they sign the first week, but I guess we'll find out. And we actually managed to get all 5 in the first week. So we had Marcus Williams, Jabril Peppers, and Rasul Douglas all to our secondary. I think that makes it immediately better. OJ Howard at tight end and Jacob Martin at defensive end. The only new player I'm going to go after in the second stage is DJ Chark to try to add him to our receiving core. And then I don't think we would actually need to draft a receiver. And we also land DJ Chark, so now I'm not 100% positive if we will even draft a receiver in the first round. I think we might be able to focus on defense or if a quarterback falls to us. And we do have a 5th-year option here. I wanted to reach out and talk about Andre Dillard's contract. Do you think he's worth extending? Probably not, because he's our backup. So we will decline Andre Dillard's 5th-year option for right now and then maybe look to trade him. Now we can take a look at this 3rd and I think final mock draft. Since I started it later in the year, like after the Super Bowl, we don't get mock draft 4 and 5, so mock draft 3 should be the last one. And let's see where they have us taking now. A wide receiver, Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State, and wide receiver Jameson Williams out of Alabama. I highly doubt that's going to happen. Real fast, we will take a look at the top signings in free agency, starting with Devontae Adams going to the Texans, Teron Armstead is a Bengal, Stephon Gilmore is going to Pittsburgh, Chris Godwin's going to Miami, Devin McCourty is going to Washington, Trent Brown is a Dolphin, Melvin Gordon is a Dolphin, and Casey Hayward is a Bill. The Dolphins spent a lot of money here. And we are sending Jalen Reagor to the Packers for 2 fourth-round picks, one this year and one next year. And we are shipping JJ Arcega-Whiteside to the Browns for a 2022 7th-round pick, just so we don't have to cut him for nothing. Alright, we're going to get this draft started. Now, just a quick heads up, I've never used this draft class, so I don't know exactly how good some of these players are, and I'll be drafting pretty much completely blind. But for the first pick in the draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars will take, I assume, Aiden Hutchinson. No, they take Evan Neal. Alright, and the Lions will take... They take Aiden Hutchinson, left end out of Michigan. And now the Texans will use their 1 first-round pick because in this universe, they did not trade Deshaun Watson to the Browns, so they still only have the 1 third overall pick, and they will take right in Kayvon Thibodeau out of Oregon. The Jets, with their first of 2 first-round picks, here at pick 4, will take a left tackle. Our division rival, the New York Giants, with the 5th pick in the draft, will take free safety Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame. The Panthers, with the 6th pick in the draft, take left tackle Charles Cross, so still no quarterbacks are coming off the board yet. And the Giants, with pick 7, will take quarterback Malik Willis out of Liberty, so they're looking to replace Daniel Jones. And the Falcons, with the 8th pick in the draft, will take defensive end Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State. The Broncos, with the 9th pick here in the draft, will take defensive tackle Jordan Davis out of Georgia. With the 10th pick, the Jets select defensive back Ahmad or Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati. Not gonna lie, I was kind of wishing he would fall to 15. I knew it was like a non-existent dream, but still. With pick 11, the Washington Commanders, or the Washington football team, take Trayvon Walker, defensive end out of Georgia. With pick 12, the Vikings will take defensive back Trent McDuffie out of Washington. And the Browns, with their 13th pick here in the first round, take Devin Lloyd, middle linebacker out of Utah. And the Ravens, with the 14th pick and the pick right before our first selection, will take left tackle Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa. And even though we already signed a corner in free agency, Derek Stingley Jr. has fallen to us here at pick 15 in the first round, and that's where I'm going with it. Now the Saints, with pick 16, will select Drake London, wide receiver out of USC, and then the Chargers, with pick 17, take George Karlaftis, is that how you say his name? A defensive end out of Purdue. And with the 18th pick here in the first round, we're going to take middle linebacker Nakobe Dean out of Georgia. And he also has a hidden depth trade. Now let's see how the rest of the first round goes. The Saints take Devontae Wyatt. Okay, I almost couldn't read his name thanks to the Saints background. The Steelers at pick 20 take Kenyon Green, a left guard out of A&M. The Patriots at pick 21 take Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State. The Raiders, with pick 22, take Tyler Linderbaum, center out of Iowa. At pick 23, the Cardinals take Jamison Williams, wide receiver out of Alabama, if I can talk. With pick 24, the Cowboys take Zion Johnson, a left guard out of Boston College. At pick 25, the Bills take Andrew Booth Jr., a defensive back out of Clemson. Pick 26, the Titans take Kyler Gordon, defensive back out of Washington. At pick 27, the Buccaneers take Treylon Burks, wide receiver out of Arkansas. Pick 28, the Green Bay Packers select Quay Walker, a middle linebacker out of Georgia. At pick 29, the Dolphins take Kenneth Walker III, a running back out of Michigan State. The Chiefs, with pick 30, take Jahan Dotson, wide receiver out of Penn State. The Lions, with pick 31. Okay, I'm not real sure what's happening here because it says the Lions have pick 31, but that shouldn't be right. That should be pick 32. Okay, well, it skipped the last 2 picks, so I'm not really sure who the Lions selected, but Christian Harris goes at the end of the first round, even though the Rams won the Super Bowl, so they should be picking last, which means the Lions should have that pick, but whatever. And I've skipped to our next pick, which is pick 19 here in the second round, and I'm looking at defensive end Majai Sanders, and I hope I'm saying that right, but we're going to draft him. He has a normal dev trait, but I think he's going to be pretty solid for us. Hopefully. And here in the third round, I'm looking at outside linebacker Channing Tindall here at pick 19. Here are his skills that we know. He has B hit power and A tackle. So we're going to take him. And normal depth trait, 85 speed, but he can't be much worse than the outside linebackers we currently have. And now I'm in the 4th round and I'm looking at middle linebacker out of Oklahoma, Brian Asamoah. I know we already took a middle linebacker with Nakobe Dean, but we can move Dean to the outside or Asamoah to the outside, whichever one would be better. So we're going to take Brian Asamoah out of Oklahoma. He has 84 speed, 86 acceleration. And I kind of wish they still showed you the overall on this screen, but I also understand the change. And here with our second pick in the 4th round at pick 28, I'm looking at Ed Ingram out of LSU. He's got B awareness, A impact block, C pass block, and where's his bench reps? He was 2nd at the combine and 5th during pro day. So we're going to take right guard Ed Ingram since our right guard is currently injured and he is a hidden dev trait. With the signing of DJ Chark, I didn't really feel it was super necessary to draft a receiver early in the draft, but now that we're in the 5th round here, I'm looking at wide receiver Taekwon Thornton out of Baylor. He is 6'3", 182, and runs a 4.2 540 and a 4.2 440. So we will take Taekwon Thornton. Normal depth trait, but 97 speed, 98 acceleration. As long as his catching isn't horrible, I don't think this is a bad pick. And this one might be a bad pick, but I'm looking at Josh Ross here at the end of the 5th round with pick 23. He's 6'1", 224 out of Michigan. I know he has B pursuit. What else does he have? B man coverage, C impact block. I don't know why we need impact block for a right outside linebacker, but he was 1st in the 40-yard dash, so he's a fast linebacker. So we will take him and see how he is. So really the way I start drafting in the late rounds is just best player available, even if I already have, it shows I think I have like 9 corners on the roster right now, but we're going to add Alontae Taylor to that list. And here at the end of the 6th round, I'm looking at Brendan Radley Hiles. His nickname is Buki. The only reason I know that is because he started at Oklahoma before transferring to Washington, but we're going to draft him. He has 90 speed, 90 acceleration. He is really good like physical traits. We'll see how he is ratings wise. And then with our last pick in the draft here, pick 2 in the 7th round, I believe this is the pick we got for JJ Arcega-Whiteside. I'm looking at right guard Chris Paul out of Tulsa. Really the only good trait he has is A impact block, and then what was he? He was 3rd and 8th in bench reps for the combine and pro days. So right guard Chris Paul has a hidden dev trait. Okay. And let's take a look at our draft class, starting with pick 15, Derek Stingley Jr., a 75 overall with 95 speed and 76 man. He does have low morale right now for some reason, but I think this is going to be a pretty solid pick for us. And then our other 1st round pick was middle linebacker Nakobe Dean out of Georgia, also with a hidden dev trait, 88 speed, 81 tackles, 75 block shed, 80 hit power, a 76 overall. I think this is also going to be a pretty solid player for us. And then our 2nd round pick, Majai Sanders, I'm not 100% sure how to say his name. He is a base 73 overall. He has low morale right now for some reason, and here are his ratings. Then we have our 3rd round pick, Channing Tindall, who is a 69 overall with a normal depth trait, and here are all of his ratings. And then we have our 4th round pick, Brian Asamoah, who probably was only drafted because of my Oklahoma bias. He's a 69 overall with a normal depth trait, and here are all of his ratings. Then we have our other 4th round pick, right guard Ed Ingram, who is a 66 overall but has a hidden dev trait, and here are his ratings. Then we have our 5th round pick, wide receiver Taekwon Thornton out of Baylor, who is a 70 overall with a normal dev trait with 97 speed, 98 acceleration, 79 catching. Can't really run routes. He can sort of run deep routes, but short and medium, kind of low. Then we have our other 5th round pick, right outside linebacker Josh Ross out of Michigan, who is a 66 overall with normal dev traits, and here are his ratings. Then we have our first 6th round pick, defensive back Alontae Taylor out of Tennessee, and here are his ratings, 92 speed, 92 acceleration, but 66 man and 61 zone. So he's fast, but he can't really cover, which is probably going to be an issue if he has to play early on. Then we have our other 6th round pick, defensive back Brendan Radley Hiles, otherwise known as Buki, who is a 62 overall base, 61 right now because of the low morale. His ratings are 90 speed, 90 acceleration, usually 66 man coverage, and usually 64 zone. And then we have right guard Chris Paul out of Tulsa with a 59 overall but a hidden dev trait. You probably won't play enough downs to actually figure out what that is this year, so I'm hoping after like the rookie season it just kind of shows you. And here are his ratings, 87 strength, 65 run block. Yeah, his ratings are not great. He's got really good impact blocking though, like it said. The best player in the draft goes to the Giants at pick 5, Kyle Hamilton, an 80 overall. Kayvon Thibodeau goes to the Texans at 79 overall. Aiden Hutchinson is a 78. One thing I like to do is look through all the quarterbacks to see where they ended up and how good they are. Obviously, I elected not to take a quarterback in the first round, and by our second round pick, all of the top QBs were obviously gone. So we are going to be rolling with Jalen Hurts as of right now for this season, unless something drastically changes. But let's see. Caleb Ellaby goes to the Saints. Bailey Zapp goes to the Raiders. Malik Willis goes to the Giants at a 71 overall with a hidden dev trait. I don't know if he will actually start over Daniel Jones with that rating. Dustin Crum goes to the Bills. Desmond Ridder goes to the Chargers. What round y'all take him in? You have a franchise quarterback, you took him in the second round. I love VA's logic. Matt Corral goes to the Browns. So if Baker leaves after this year, they have at least a backup quarterback that can learn. Kenny Pickett is headed to Washington, so we may have to play against him. He only has a normal dev trait though. Skylar Thompson goes to the Bengals. Cole Kelly goes to the Buccaneers. Carson Strong goes to the Steelers. Jack Cohn goes to the Cowboys, and Sam Howell goes to the Dolphins. And then next, I like to go through and see what my division rivals did, like the Dallas Cowboys took a left guard in the first round with a hidden dev trait. What about their second round pick? Does he have a hidden dev trait? No, he does not. And looking at the Giants class, it looks like they kind of killed it. They get a star on defense with the 5th pick in the draft, and then with the 7th pick, they get a potential franchise quarterback. They kind of missed here, but then they made up for that in the 3rd round by getting 2 71 overall players, a 73 overall defensive back in the 4th round, and then from there, just kind of a normal draft. But yeah, I feel like they did pretty good. And Washington doesn't look to have done too bad either. They get Trayvon Walker in the 1st, they get Kenny Pickett in the 2nd, Isaiah Likely, a tight end, in the 3rd, that's a 72, Brian Robinson Jr., a running back out of Alabama, in the 4th, that's a 72 overall. So overall, I think our division had a pretty solid draft, I guess. I am going to sign Tyrod Taylor as a free agent just to bring him in to back up Jalen Hurts, so we will have a backup quarterback other than Gardner Minshew. I also have to sign a punter, so we're going to bring in J.K. Scott because he's only 24 years old, star dev trait, and he will be our punter. I'm also going to bring in running back T.J. Logan to back up Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell. And before I wrap up this video, let's go ahead and go through the depth chart going into the preseason. Starting quarterback is Jalen Hurts, then Gardner Minshew and Tyrod Taylor will compete for the backup job. Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, and TJ Logan. I will definitely be changing his number from 11 if I remember to. At wide receiver, we have Devontae Smith, DJ Chark, and Quez Watkins, followed by Taekwon Thornton. At tight end is Dallas Goedert, backed up by OJ Howard. Then we got Jordan Mailata at left tackle. Left guard is Landon Dickerson. Center is Jason Kelsey. I did not sign a backup center or draft one. That is my bad. Right guard is Brandon Brooks. Backup is Chris Paul, who is a 59 overall. I feel sorry for Tyrod and Gardner Minshew for having to stand behind that in the preseason. Right tackle is Lane Johnson, who's an 87. On the defensive side of the ball, we have Josh Sweat at left end. At right end, we have Jacob Martin, at least until Brandon Graham comes back. That is probably going to be the setup. Defensive tackles, Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave. Left outside linebacker for right now is Channing Tindall, rookie out of Georgia. Middle linebacker starter is Nakobe Dean with TJ Edwards backing him up. And we also have Brian Asamoah. Right outside linebacker is Davion Taylor, but as you can tell, there are a few people down here, including Asamoah, who is rated better than him, so we will see how that goes. At defensive back, we have Darius Slay, Avonte Maddox, Rasul Douglas, and we're actually going to start Stingley over Douglas, at least for right now. And you know what? No, we're going to put Stingley on the opposite end of Darius Slay. Free safety is Marcus Williams, and strong safety will be Jabril Peppers when he gets healthy, but right now it is Kayvon Wallace. So that will be the introduction and the first offseason to this series. Obviously, in the next video, I will do the entire preseason. I will probably do the play the moments thing for all 3 preseason games in one video. And then the video after that, we will jump into the regular season. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you guys next time.